All right, my friends, today I'm going to teach you all how to make a star charm out of wire. This is what it will look like. And the materials you will need for this is a ring clamp, looks like this. You'll need 5 roughly 4-inch pieces of 18 gauge wire. This is just for your base wires. You'll see these won't actually go into your piece. You'll need 6 inches of a 20 gauge wire. And then I've grabbed 36 inches of a 24 gauge wire, all round wires. But you can do this with varying gauges. You kind of just have to feel it out. I prefer 22 or 24 because it kind of gives a nice sturdy star. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your 16 gauge, 18 gauge. Did I put 16 gauge? I don't know if this is 16 or 18. I think it's 18. You're going to put your 18 gauge wires right here. You could use 16 or 18. Really, you just want like a step larger than what you're going to do with your base wire for your piece. I'm using a 20 gauge wire, so I'm getting a wire that's just a little bit larger than my 20 gauge, and you'll see why in just a second. But you're going to use 5 pieces of that, and you're going to set them up like this with your ring clamp. And then you're going to take your 24 gauge, just give yourself a little bit of a tail, and you're going to start doing rotations around these base wires you've created. So I'm going to do 1 rotation around the bottom, and then I'm going to go up and I'm going to grab the bottom 2. When you're weaving wire, you're going to want to lay down your wire before you send it between your base wires. You'll see how I lay it down, and as we go, we're going to graduate up each wire, so 1 on each wire. As you can see, I'm just kind of stepping up. And then all the way to the top, lay that down, and then we're going to make our way back down. Hey, Naomi and Wendy. Hey, first time catching you and alive. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Thanks for being here. Thanks for saying hello. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. And then between each point, I like to do 2 rotations. So I started with 1. I'm going to do 2 here. And we're going to make, this is going to be a point for your star. We're going to make 5 points for our star. So we're just going to keep that weave going. And again, 2 on that base wire between each point. Hey Tenshi, how are you, love? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Hey Rosa, how are you? I've got 3, almost there. point. And then just that one rotation. And then you can just kind of clip that at the end, just a little bit left over. I am making a little star like this, a little charm that you can add to your pieces. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your base wires off of your clamp, and you're going to take your base wires out of what you've just made. So you have something that looks like this. And then you can set these aside and use them for another project. So I just like to keep those here in Woody Clampert's mouth. Save those for later. And then I take my .20 gauge wire. You can do this just around a pencil or anything kind of like a pen. It doesn't really matter. But I'm going to take my 20 gauge wire, and right in the middle of that 20 gauge, I'm going to make a little loop like this. And I usually try and go left over right, if I remember correctly, so that when I cross these over, this one's closest to me, the one going to the right is closest to me, to make this a little easier. But I may have gotten that backwards, so we'll see. So what we're going to do is you're going to take your 20 gauge wire and you're going to slide it into that hole. This is why I recommend using a larger gauge for your base wires for when you're doing this weave than the wire for this specific step. It makes this part a lot easier. You can do this weave with a 20 gauge. It's going to make your star a little smaller. You can do that. It just makes this process a little more frustrating and cumbersome. And then you're just going to slide your little star piece on there, kind of round that out like that, so you have what looks like this. Trust the process here. And then what I like to do is take my excess wire from one side and send it through the middle there gently to the other side, and then same thing over here. I do like these to kind of cross over each other here to kind of keep everything together. See how they like cross each other there? And then you take that wire that you took from the other side and you just do a couple rotations around here. Nothing too crazy, just enough to anchor that down. And then you flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. You see how they cross each other down there? That'll keep these 2 points from shifting apart. can go in here and just take your flush cutters, like that. Same thing on the other side, just take your flush cutters, clip that end there off, lay that down flat. Right. Then, with your extra wire here, you can, making sure you're doing your coil towards your work. So I want this to go this way, not this way. So I don't want this to go up, I want this to go down. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to start doing a nice little coil. Usually I like to start my coils by folding them over on each other, on itself, really nice and tight, like this. And then I take my pliers and grab and just slowly coil in. And depending on how big you want that curly Q to be, I think I maybe have gone a little large on this, but that's okay. Is going to determine how, actually it's perfect, how long you want this piece to be. So this is with a 6-inch 20 gauge wire. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. You can set a stone in there, yep. Yes, you can. There's a lot of different things you can do with this design, but we're just covering the basics today. One thing I like to do is you can take like a small cabochon and stick it in there and do a shorter wire here. Do that same curly Q but loose. So like more like, oh, this is a half round wire. Okay, hold on. There we go. More like this. You can do a curly Q like this. And lay that over top of your cabochon and close it in that way. And that looks really cute because then you have a stone showing through, which is fun. And you can actually do that with a bead. What you can do is when you do this part right here, instead of clipping that piece right there, you can take that piece, string a bead on, go straight across, attach your wire, like secure it down to the other side, and then when you bring this curly Q in, you can do it loose on either side, and you can have a bead that just sits in there too, and it's nice and secure, and you can have some color and have an open swirl on either side too, which is always nice. Rondia, you're here! Oh, I'm so glad to have you here. It's nice to have familiar faces in here. It makes me feel like not all is lost if we lose our beloved TikTok. All right. And then you just curl that in there. And then what you can do is go in here and just kind of straighten these out the way that you want them to sit. Since they're attached to that center wire, it gives you a little room to work. And there you go. A nice Nice little fun. And it's great because you can make little earrings out of this. You can, because of the way they're made, you can make them hook from either side. I don't know why I'm so shaky today. I'm sorry. Actually, I do. I have not eaten enough today. But you can use them as like links if you want, and hook from here and here. So there's a lot of options with this design. I like to use it as like, this piece isn't finished right now. Here's my current work in progress. But if you wanted to do like a little dangly, you can do like a dangly star at the bottom of a piece. Really the options are limitless. But yeah, so that is how you do that. So there you go. I hope that helped somebody. Somebody had requested that I do that yesterday, 2 days ago, and so there you have it. There's your star tutorial. I hope that helps. I will say, really the finite rules for this is that you're going to want, actually, I don't even know if there are finite rules for this. The 3 kinds of wire you want is, you want your largest wire is going to be your base wires that you do your weaving on. Step down a wire size, or I guess step down in size for a wire, for your next wire, which will be this base wire, and then step down 2 to 3 sizes for this weaving wire. But you can do this in like a 26 gauge if you want. You can go really small and do it in a 28 gauge. It really comes down to what your preference is. There is a sun. I did come up with a sun version of this as well. I guess I could probably do another tutorial for a sun version. So if you guys want to see the sun version of this, please, once this is posted, actually, I don't know if you guys can go and comment on the main video instead of the live stream, but comment on the main video and just say that you want to see the sun version, and I can post the sun version as well. It's got more points. I think it's 8 total. Is it 8? I think it is 8 total. But yes, there's a sun version of this as well. And yes, I am doing I have entered a contest with Rio Grande with this grand piano locket that I designed and made. And if you all would be so kind, at the bottom of the description of this video, I have added a link. You can vote once a day for the ability to go vote on this. So if you click on that link, scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see a little blue heart. Please go throw your girl a vote. The ability to vote ends on July 1st, 2024. So if you don't mind, please go give some love. If you've created your own designs and you want to enter, go enter the contest as well. You can follow that same link and enter your own art and your own designs over there as well. So please don't feel like and you can vote for multiple people too. So you can vote for me, and you can also enter the contest as well. But yeah, I appreciate you all so much. There was something else I was thinking about doing on here today, not in this video, but in another video. I was going to make another video, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, that's right. I might do a video here in a few minutes, live again, doing a Viking knit over a faceted stone. I've got a couple on here already. I've already got a couple videos on here showing how to do that, but I've had a couple people ask to see it again. So I might be doing that here in just a second. I do have a piece that I need to wrap. So, go watch that video. If you're here from the future and you're not here live, that video is probably already posted. And if you're here live, thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. And I will maybe see you in a few minutes over in that live stream. Bye, guys.